morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nirenstein, and this is Vehicle Virgins. I have flown all the way to Portugal for none other than to drive the Mclaren Senna. Now, hopefully at this point, you have seen my full review on the car, my experience with it, driving it on track. If you haven't, I've got a link in the description below for that. But today is about highlighting 5 insane features of the Mclaren Senna. Right now, I feel incredibly lucky to be invited out here to drive this car. But then all of a sudden, this guy comes and Shmi actually purchased a Mclaren Senna. So I can't believe how excited you are, and I'm sure we haven't actually driven it yet, even though this video is coming later. I'm sure you're gonna absolutely love it.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I'm like nervous, anticipation, excitement. It's the mix of making a cool video with what's actually gonna be like.
That's the best part, when you actually drive and review a car that you know is eventually going to be yours. Yeah. And this is a long time coming. You ordered this a long time ago. It's a long process to get a car like that. One of the most incredible features of the Senna has to do with its doors. Like the 720S, they open in a butterfly fashion. In fact, these are actually styled more based off the McLaren F1, but they're significantly lighter. In fact, the Mclaren Senna's doors weigh 3 times less than those on the already lightweight 720S. But the coolest feature has to do with the window on the door itself. Check this out. There's actually a piece of glass so that you can see out from inside the cabin down to the ground. What's crazy is the clear door option only costs $3,580. That's actually pretty reasonable considering this car costs $1 million. So I imagine most Sennas are gonna come that way. The inspiration for these see-through doors actually came from the view that helicopter pilots have from the cockpit. That 360-degree aerial view gives this unmatched sense of speed and visibility, and that's something that I've certainly never seen before in a production car. I mean, check out this view. Imagine driving the car or even riding in the passenger seat and being able to see out that window. Now, the door handle to actually close the door is hidden. It is right here. Go ahead and pull that down. And that leads us to another cool feature of the door. Normally, the gas door struts on a car are hidden, so it makes the interior more elegant. But on the Senna, that causes excess weight. And you can even color these using MSO in whatever color you would like, which adds this extra special flair in the interior that I quite enjoy. Before we go over the next insane feature of the Mclaren Senna, let's head to the track. We've arrived at Estoril. Check this out. This is P1 UV, a very special P1. It was actually the press car used in almost every magazine test, including Top Gear. McLaren decided to keep it. This thing has a special place in McLaren history. I just saw a Senna for the first time ripping down the track. I've never seen one in any environment other than stationary. Let's head inside and see what the day has in store. The next absolutely insane feature of the McLaren Senna has to do with the location of some of the controls, including the stop-start button, race mode, as well as opening the doors from the inside. Check this out. The door handles are hidden away under here. Go ahead and open that up. Just as I was talking about before, check out the gas door stanchions. These are painted in blue. That looks absolutely stunning. I had a lovely conversation with the guy behind the interior design of the Senna. Now, a lot of the Senna in the interior was actually designed based on a fighter plane and this characteristic and feel of weapons and military. One of those characteristics is the fact that the start-stop button is located on the roof. That's right, you have to raise your hand and click the button up here. How cool is that? Also, to open the doors, the latch is actually right here. Pull that, and the door opens right up. This is also the location of race mode. Click this button here and the car drops 1.5 inches in the front and 1.2 in the rear. Obviously, very minimalistic cabin for weight savings, but they've done a fantastic job of still making it look extremely exciting, despite the fact that there's not much in here. I love the fact that you can see the carbon fiber tub switch from normal carbon fiber to this different pressed pattern right there in the door sills. The next insane feature of the McLaren Senna has to do with the levels of downforce it produces. 1,764 pounds of downforce at 155 miles an hour. What's even crazier than that is how light the components are that make that happen. This rear wing that provides over 1,000 pounds of downforce weighs just 11 pounds. I mean, you can easily lift this thing up in the air. What's even crazier than that is, come check this out. One of the front quarter panels feels so light, it actually almost feels like you could break it. In certain parts of the front quarter panel, this is just 1 millimeter thick. I could actually lift this, although it wouldn't balance, with one finger. We've got Mr. JWW in the house.
We've just seen footage of this thing being crash tested, and yet I wouldn't trust my
and yet it works.
To not
and this probably also costs about $80,000.
Probably. It's unbelievable. So I just saw, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this or not, but,
yeah, this weighs 95 kilograms, the entire tub.
just picking up the primary chassis of the car, you know. Cool.
More on weight savings, these doors are 3 times lighter than those on a 720S. That's some severe weight savings, and you can really tell when you actually just lift this thing up. The craziest part about the rear wing is that it's actually active. A piece of material that large moving up and down to change the aerodynamics as well as downforce levels is unbelievably impressive. Check out all of the aerodynamic elements in the rear of the Senna. These louvers, for instance, help channel heat off of the engine bay and out underneath the car for increased cooling. Then we've got these gurney flaps here that help direct wind around the car as well as underneath the wing for additional downforce. In the front, we have active aero flaps as well, right here and on the other side, colored in blue in this instance. They move to change the aerodynamics as well as downforce. One thing that I think is really cool by McLaren is that the front piece of this splitter is actually removable. Now, why would they do that? As you can see here, it's bolted down to the front of the splitter. This is actually genius. That's so if you mess up the front splitter, you curb it, or something happens on a racetrack, all you have to do is unbolt that piece and get a new one. If you weren't already convinced that the Senna is a full-blown race car that just somehow was made street legal, get this. MSO, McLaren Special Operations, has a $6,700 push-to-drink option to maintain hydration. That's right, you click a button and you can hydrate yourself while you're driving in the Senna. There's not much in the way of storage space. In fact, there's only enough space for a helmet behind this seat, a helmet behind the passenger seat, and a couple of racing suits, but that's the point of this car, isn't it? So at this point, hopefully you have already seen my full review on the Senna. If not, I've got it linked in the description below. But at this point in the day, in real life, I haven't actually driven the Senna yet. I have not been this excited to drive a car in my entire life. Let's roll. I have never in my entire life been more speechless and impressed by a car. The brakes on this thing are just mind-bending. To come to the end of the straight at somewhere near 180 miles per hour and be full on the brakes and be confident even though you're full on the brakes at such speeds, and then come up short of the corner and realize you could have gone even farther into the straightaway before braking is just a mind-altering experience. I can't stop smiling, and this opportunity, I can't thank McLaren enough. Well, it's time to grab a bite to eat now, sit down and process how incredible that car truly was to drive. I'm still speechless after 10 minutes of reflection, but before we go, I've got to go over the last crazy feature of the McLaren Senna. let's hop inside and check it out. So the last insane feature of the McLaren Senna has to do with the center console. Now, unlike normal McLarens where this stays stationary, these buttons actually slide with the seat. So if we go ahead and pull the seat forward, notice how all of the controls stay right with the seat. Now, the reason for this is once you're bolted into that 6-point harness, your mobility is very much limited. I talked to the interior designer and he actually described it like having a gun in a holster at your waistband. As you move the seat, that gun is always right there. Coincidentally, it's actually styled just like a gun as well. Check out that kind of weapon-like shape. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video half as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, smash that thumbs up button. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.